Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Welcome once again to Talking Real Money, the podcast. I'm Don McDonald, and we've got a fun-filled, information-packed edition of the podcast for you today with some interesting facts and a couple of great questions. So let's dive right in. By the way, the number, if you want to call in your questions, it's really easy to do. Just give me a call at 855-935-TALK. And me is Don McDonald. I've been hosting money-oriented talk shows for 30-plus years. So give me a call, 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255, or go to talkingrealmoney.com and you can send your questions in via our contact form. There's also a lot of other really good stuff there at Talking Real Money. So stop in, 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. You can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Bankrate.com recently released a study on lotteries and our participation therein. Do you know how much the average American spends on lottery tickets in a year? Ooh, it's a lot. It's over $1,000. It's $86 a month that the average American spends on lottery tickets. And the biggest spenders on lottery tickets shocked me. It truly shocked me. The biggest buyers of lottery tickets, I'm doing an audio show though, are people over 65. The bulk of it. Folks over 65. And when you spend money on lottery tickets, you are guaranteeing yourself a financial loss, practically. The odds are terrible. Do you realize how terrible the odds are? Even, the big Powerball things, the odds are like 1 in 300 million or something ridiculous. But even a scratch-off game, the average odds run right around 1 in 5 of getting anything. And most of the anything you're going to get is your dollar back that you spent on the dollar scratch-off. So that's not really winning. That's just not losing. So your odds of winning even $2 are pretty pathetic. More like, like 1 in 8, 1 in 9, 1 in 10. And that's just $2. You can't make a living doing this because the odds are against you. That's the way gambling works. Whereas the odds of making money, if you put $1,000 in a diversified mutual fund, globally diversified mutual fund, your odds of making money in any given year are 3 out of 4, or about 75%, compared with 20% of winning anything in the lottery. Now, which is the better odds? And by the way, the odds of winning in a diversified equity portfolio, at least in the past, if you wait a long time, at least 5 years, have run closer to 1 in 1 or 100%. So I don't even see why it's fun. And by the way, if it's $1,000 a year, the average is $1,000 a year. There are a couple of you who are making up for me because I don't spend any on lottery tickets. I will occasionally buy dumb things, but to give someone money that I'm 95% sure I'm going to lose? Okay, let's say 80% sure. No, if you're going for the bigger lotteries, it's 95, 100. The number's astronomical. You're not going to win. Why are you playing? There are better charities. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255. And let's start with a quick phoned-in question.
Yes, I have a 14-year-old special needs grandson that I'd like to set up a savings account for. He's on SSI, so between he and his mother, they can only have $2,000 in savings. I understand that the 529A or ABLE program is a way of saving and not counting as income for Social Security. I'd like to start out with $1,000 and then be able to add to it later. I'm wondering what your opinion of these plans are and where the best place to set one up would be that doesn't eat up the account in fees. Thank you.
Well, that's definitely the first call I can remember on 529 ABLE plans, 529A plans. Now, we talk a lot about 529 plans. 529 plans are a way for parents, grandparents, family members to help fund a child's post-secondary education. 529 ABLE plans are relatively new, and they're designed to help pay for what are called qualified disability expenses. Now, those can include education or job training, but they can also include health support, mental support, health care costs, managing their money, all of these things. And they do not, as the caller mentioned, they do not affect your supplemental security income for the first $100,000 in 529A accounts. And the beneficiaries will get Medicaid no matter how big the account gets. It does not count against Medicaid. Now, I had not done a great deal of research into ABLE plans, but this was a great opportunity for me to do that, and I looked at ABLE plans in almost every state that offers them, and I found something fascinating. The majority of them are pretty terrible. They have a lot of active management. Some of them have very high fees, approaching 1% a year. I can see what you meant about fees eating you up. I found Florida had a pretty good plan, but it's only available to Floridians. Nebraska had a plan where I liked the funds, but its fees were a little too high. And then I found the ABLE Tennessee plan, operated by the Tennessee Treasury Department, and they have very low fees. Some of the lowest fees I could find anywhere. The highest fee is 0.62%. That's the highest. Some of the fees are as low as 0%, and that's because they use Vanguard funds and dimensional funds, which is just exactly what I would have suggested. So I would go look at the ABLE Tennessee plan, and do I have a web address for them? Let me see if I can find that. I don't have it, but I can find it for you. Let's go ABLE Tennessee and see. No, that's not it. Oh, it's pretty simple. It's abletn.gov. abletn.gov. Take a look at their plan. I would lean toward Vanguard and dimensional funds. It's a terrific way to save for someone with a disability and to give them some hope in adulthood. So good luck. Great thing to do. Thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. 855-935-TALK is the number, 855-935-8255. And this question was sent in via Talking Real Money and the contact form. This is addressed to Tom and Dawn. My question is, after a very thorough evaluation from Merriman, a chat with a Vestry advisor after I took your risk quiz, score 52, why do advisors go so long with a strategy that is not working as well as it should? From your contact, I was told that Vestry and Merriman are like clones of each other and use similar investments, some not available to the general public, and that you use a scientific approach. Well, we're not clones. Actually, Merriman uses some things that we are not comfortable using. They tend to be a little too expensive and don't have a great track record, but we have a similar approach. I was also told that the approach has not been as good as expected for the past 10 years, mainly due to the amount of small caps used. Small company stocks is what he means. I have been following Brinker's newsletter and investing on my own for the past 15 years after being screwed over by a bunch of different financial advisors, and his 50-50 portfolio has substantially performed the one presented to me by Merriman. I compared portfolio gains for the past 15 years. It was like when a financial planner I tried in Bend, Oregon, I assume, gave me a 2% gain for the first year compared to a 7% average gain other places, and I was told they got into emerging markets too early. I really do enjoy your show and have learned a lot in this past year since I found you. Thank you. And I don't know if you can answer this on the show, but we can. So thanks for the note. It's a great question. It's a wonderful question. And it goes to the way our heads work. Now, I can't track Bob Brinker's portfolio, but I do know others who have tracked Bob Brinker's portfolios and have found them to be not particularly great, but not horrible either, right in the middle of the pack. The one thing I do know, though, is that historically, the approach we take, which is to overweight those asset classes that have, see, there's the key word, have in the past shown a propensity to outperform, and for which there are good reasons for that outperformance, logical reasons. For example, over the past 90-odd years, we're getting close to 100 now in our research, small company stocks have, past tense, tended to, in many cases, dramatically outperform large company stocks. Value stocks have outperformed growth stocks. It doesn't mean they always do. U.S. stocks have recently outperformed international stocks. But what we forget is that international stocks saved investors from a full decade of loss during the 2000s. People forget the S&P 500 from 2000 to 2010 lost after dividends an average of about 1% per year. About a 10% total loss over that period. But if you had tossed international funds in with your U.S. funds, your average return would have been quite positive. In fact, from January 1st, 2000 until January 1st, 2010, again, the U.S. S&P, Standard & Poor's 500, lost an average of about 1% per year. However, the U.S. International, which is about a 50-50 split that we use, the kind of portfolio that we tend to use, would have over that same period of time, returned about 7% per year. Now, did we know going into 2000 that international stocks would outperform U.S. stocks? No, we did not. Did we know going into January 1st, 2010, that U.S. stocks would outperform international stocks? No, we did not. Did we know that growth would, over the past decade, outperform value? No, we did not. That large would outperform small? No, we didn't. But you see, that's a thing we cannot know, nor can anyone else. And anyone who gets it right once in a while gets it right just based on luck. However, if you had owned that globally diversified portfolio on January 1st, 2000, and you held it until the end of November 2019, over that entire 20-year period, you would have averaged close to 8% per year, which is what we're going for. We're not going for the best return nor the worst return. By diversifying, you get the middle of the road return. And that's what we think you should be going for. Yes, at times you're going to feel like, oh, I'm missing out. Why wasn't I over here or over there? but you're really not. Because let me just, again, we can pick and choose time periods and say, oh, XYZ won over this period and ABC won over that period. But let's use that same 19 years and 11 months. From January 1st, 2000 to November 30th, 2019, the average annual return for a diversified equity portfolio, 100% stocks, was around 8% per year. The S&P 500 over that same 20-year period, which everybody says, well, why wasn't I just in the S&P 500 over the past 10 years? Well, if you were in it almost 20 years, your average return would have only been about 6% per year. So for the long-term investor, despite all of that volatility and fluctuation and people changing, positions on the charts, your average annual return was pretty darn good. Yeah, you took a little more risk, but that's the whole point. It's you diversify the risk. It reduces the volatility. It gives you a better average return over a long period of time. You can't expect to be in the best place at the best time. You cannot do it. It's just not doable. But it is what we all want, and we can't always have what we want. So what we go for is what has proven to be the most effective path, and then we rebalance regularly, and we close our eyes and plug our ears when the bad stuff happens and the people start screaming, well, you should have been in blank, because they are looking back and going, well, you should have been in it. They didn't tell you to go in it before. And again, if someone did say, do this, they were guessing. It's so funny. I mean, I read every day all of the financial press, and I love to read Market Watch because it's so bad. The advice is so bad. But it's fun every day. They have, for the past year, the past year or two, it's been all about the bears. Market's getting ready to go down. Market's getting ready to go down. Market's getting ready to go down. And it just didn't go down the whole time. So now suddenly their new tune is, market's ready to go up. Market's going to go up like crazy. Market's going to go up. All I know is it goes up more than it goes down, and if you can sit tight during the down times, you're gonna come out okay, unless the world ends. Again, our phone number is 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. It is always free to call. It is always easy. You can leave your question on our electronic thingy, which sends it to me and allows me to paste it into the podcast and answer your question, or you can send your questions in at talkingrealmoney.com. And there's a contact link there. Also at talkingrealmoney.com, we've got some terrific videos, all of our podcasts, and there are lots of those, and all kinds of other stuff. If you want to, talk to an advisor for a few minutes, we'd let you do that for free. We don't charge you, and we don't put any pressure on you to buy anything. So go do that, or go read our newsletter, or whatever it is. Go get better educated, understand this, and a couple of things. One, avoid being fearful. 2, avoid being greedy. Take a nice average. You'll be happier. Oh, and stop playing the lottery. Thanks for listening. I'm Don McDonald.
Talking real money. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit talkingrealmoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?